Hello. Hi there. Hello. So I'm live here on YouTube, I believe. And yes, okay, good. Okay. And just had a big smoothie today. This is my hoodie. And recently I was talking to Melissa and Nate, Melissa from Raw Food Romance and Nate from Raw Natty Nate. He might have another channel, I'm not sure. And we were talking about kind of discussing reasons why people had left the vegan diet or were going away from the vegan diet, different reasons for that. And I don't really know, like, a lot of the people online that have moved away. Like, there's a lot of different ex-vegans and stuff like that. But the first thing is there's kind of a difference between a lot of these ex-vegans and, say, someone like Tim Sheaf that's been a vegan for a long time. Because a lot of these ex-vegans, a lot of them are just kind of strange stories about people that went vegan for a month and they nearly died and stuff like that. We don't really know what they were doing. There's a good chance they weren't even vegan. We don't know what the diet was that they did. They were probably experiencing some feelings that they'd never felt before, like being able to go to the toilet and stuff like that, things that happen on a vegan diet. No more constipation, headaches disappearing, certain aches and pains going away. And that's a struggle for people to deal with, genuinely. Can be a bit of a struggle for people to deal with health happening to them and the body changing towards being healthier. So that can be very hard for people. But I don't really see a lot of those stories as being genuine or real. So the ones that I'm really interested in are the people that were doing it sort of more long term. And the problem with influencers and people online is that we don't really know what they're doing. But when they get into a phase of, like, when they become established as a particular influencer in a particular area, then we don't really know for sure whether they're really doing it or whether they feel they have to keep doing it because they've become established within that role and they kind of have to live up to it. So we don't really know a lot of the time what the agenda is for people. Hopefully you can actually hear me. I hope this isn't like, I'm going to take this out just in case. Let me see if I can hear myself. Yeah, okay, I can hear myself. Right, okay. So you should be able to hear me doing this. It'd be crazy if I do this whole video and you can't hear me. Anyway. And I think with some of the raw food people, I think you would say that. Like, there's people that went raw and they had a raw channel, they had a raw following, and then they kind of had to hold up to that and stick to that and all that stuff. And a lot of them weren't raw. A lot of them didn't stick to raw for very long. A lot of them were eating cooked food way past, way before, they revealed it. Because if you ever see a video where someone goes, oh, I've been raw for 2-3 years and I'm thinking of eating some cooked food now and I'm going to make a video about it, it's like, that's never how it happens. That's never how a person, no one falls off onto cooked food like sitting there making a conscious decision about it and thinking about it. It happens usually. It kind of happens to people accidentally or just whatever. So anyway, yeah, there's definitely people that kind of said they were doing a raw diet and weren't really doing it or weren't doing it for as long as they said they were. But then we get people who are doing a vegan diet. I think more likely a lot of those people probably were doing a vegan diet. What I do think is they weren't doing as healthy a vegan diet often as they may be portrayed online. That they weren't eating as much whole food, they weren't eating as much plant-based, they weren't eating as much fruits and vegetables as they maybe made out some of the times. So we don't really know what their diets were. And a lot of the vegans online as well, and some of them were quite open about being kind of junk food-ish vegans, not eating very healthy, not really contributing towards better health. But what are the reasons that we're seeing for people moving away from a vegan diet? So from a health perspective, If you look at mainstream information, so you could go into mainstream textbooks, mainstream nutrition textbooks, you can just download nutrition textbook PDF, and you'll find people have uploaded stuff for free online. Academic, university, independent level, stuff that's mostly promoting, that's mostly apologizing for eating meat and all that stuff. But even in those mainstream sources, they say a vegetarian or vegan diet is healthy, is fine, as long as it's planned properly or whatever. And usually they mention that you should probably supplement for B12. So the mainstream information, mainstream science, the absolute, standard, if you're looking for the mainstream standard, is that the vegan diet is completely healthy, fine for anyone. There's no nutritional problems with the vegan diet, and they do recommend supplementing with B12. So then you might say to yourself, okay, well, if these people are having a problem with the vegan diet, maybe it is a B12 problem. But that's not what we're seeing, because that's an easy thing to solve. If you really do have the symptoms of B12, it's probably going to be very obvious that something's happening to you, and you're probably going to have done something about it. You might have tried supplementing B12 anyway, because vegans are very conscious of that. And I don't think this was the problem for any of them. I didn't see the symptoms of B12 deficiency with any of these people online. And if it had been, they would have been able to deal with it pretty easily. So it's not B12 deficiency. What other things could it be? So some people might say, well, a vegan diet doesn't have vitamin D, so maybe they're not getting enough sunlight. Well, yeah, maybe they weren't getting enough sunlight, but once again, the symptoms of vitamin D deficiency would be pretty severe, and you would know about it. And that doesn't seem to be what any of these people are having either. The other issues that these people seem to be getting are, some of the issues that people are getting are gut issues and digestive issues. Now, is a vegan diet a bad diet for your digestion? Well, the answer is no. The standard diet is a much worse diet for our digestion because it has less fiber. And fiber is absolutely essential for good digestion. Foods like meat and cheese and eggs and processed foods and oils have all the fiber removed. And all that fiber is removed, and it means that we cannot digest as well. We can't digest as well. So, could it be digestive? But it still seems to be digestion kind of issues in the digestion kind of area, So we get that, and when we get that feedback, we have to say to ourselves, okay, so what is the cause of it? Because really, a vegan diet, almost any kind of vegan diet, should be better for your digestion than any kind of meat-based, diet. So looking into that and thinking, well, what could the issues be gut-wise, bacteria-wise? Because what we're seeing is it's the meat eaters that have constipation. It's the meat eaters that get colorectal cancer. It's the meat eaters that have things like colitis and Crohn's disease and things like that more often. So what could the gut issue be? And it seems to be that people are getting various bacterial issues of the gut. It seems like people are getting infections and maybe infestations of bacteria. And I don't fully know how these things work or why they happen or how they happen, but I've heard some information. There's a guy called Goji Man TV or Goji Man. He was talking about this, and I don't know if he's a good credible resource. I don't know, so you can check that out yourself. But what he seems to be saying is that some of these gut issues can be worsened or brought upon by fasting, and can be made worse by fasting. And I'm not sure what else he was saying. I think what he was saying was there's a valve between the large intestine and the small intestine, there's a valve called the ileocecal valve, and it weakens during fasting, and that can allow bacteria to go into the wrong place, something like that. So that's what his information seemed to be. And some of these people have done fasting, so that, I guess, that could be part of it. I tend to not really think that fasting is the big problem that people are making it out to be. I think that if you fast because you have a bacterial problem and that's affecting your gut and everything, that is a problem. If you just fast because you've got bacteria issues, if you've got Crohn's or colitis, different. Probably it might be a good idea to fast if you've got colitis, because that's like damage to your digestive system, to your colon. Once again, I'm not the doctor here, so you can feel free to research that. But when it comes to a bacteria kind of infection, that's a different thing. That's not the same as the body repairing itself. That is, you're under attack sort of thing. You've got a bloom of bacteria. So we have effective remedies for bacteria. And this is where we have to go back to the wisdom and knowledge of the medical community. And a lot of people don't like to do this. We've been given this information in the vegan movement, in the raw vegan movement, in the natural health movement, that the doctors aren't the answer, that the drugs don't work, that the medicine should be avoided. And for so many things, that is true, because when your problems and health issues are caused by your diet, there's no amount of drugs that are going to help you. But the doctors know that as well. It's just that they give the drugs because that's the only thing that people will do, and it helps them to have some kind of a life and helps them stay away from pain and all that kind of stuff. And most people, even if the doctor was to tell them, you need to do this, you need to do that, they don't make changes. And a good example is people die every day of lung cancer. Their doctor tells them not to smoke. They die every day of liver disease and things connected to liver problems. They're told not to drink. They don't make a change. What chance has the doctor got of convincing people to, eat a healthier diet? Well, they've maybe got a better chance than you and me of convincing people, but doctors really are going to operate on the assumption that people aren't going to make changes. And so drugs help people to some degree to have to live through the symptoms of disease. But when the issue is not connected to the diet and not connected to the lifestyle directly, then we have solutions to that within the medical system. So when it comes to things like infectious diseases, you get an infectious disease. It doesn't matter if you change your diet and lifestyle, you're still going to have an infectious disease. Maybe your body would fight it off better in a healthier diet, but in reality, you've got an infectious disease. If you get radiation poisoning, once again, it's not to do with your diet and lifestyle. Obviously, if you have an accident physically, if you change your diet, you'll heal quicker, but you want to get your bones set in the right place and all the rest of it. If you're born with a genetic condition, that means that you don't produce a particular hormone or a particular nutrient, or something's missing in your body, you're better off taking the therapy that they've got. You have to, you probably have to. If you've got type 1 diabetes, the insulin is the solution, not a healthier diet. Doesn't matter how healthy your diet gets, the insulin will, without that insulin, you're going to die, So we can't keep on throwing the baby out of the bathwater, just saying the medical system doesn't know what they're doing. Big pharma, it's all money, it's all this and that. We need to get a more balanced approach here. We need to stop creating all this fear that stops people from making a better decision. Because a lot of these people that are now ex-vegan, they're looking for years and years and years to solve these gut issues that the medical doctor could have solved in probably days by prescribing them with antibiotics. Now, I don't know if it's days, maybe it's weeks, maybe it's months, but I know a lot of people out there who who come to my raw food meetups or come to my festival and they say, I was prescribed this, but I don't really want to take medication. This is really bad, you know. This is really not intelligent decision making. Until you have proven that you don't need that medication anymore, you should still be doing what your doctor's telling you to do. Within reason, I guess. Maybe they've made a mistake, but when it's something like that, when it's infection, that's real serious. If it's an abscess in your mouth, you're prescribed antibiotics. You should take them. And let me tell you, the abscess will go away very quick when you start taking those antibiotics. And these gut issues that people are getting, and there's people that have been like trying for years and years to solve these problems: juice fasting, dry fasting, mono fruit diets, over and over and over again. And then they go to a carnivore diet because none of that worked, or they go back to eating meat because none of that seemed to work. And obviously, if the bacteria thrive on, fiber or sugar or plant foods, then of course, to some extent, it'll get worse. It might get better temporarily by giving up, sugars and fruits and carbohydrates and things like that. But the solution that we have a good solution. We have a good solution, which is to take antibiotics. If they are prescribed, I'm not telling someone to. I'm not trying to be your doctor. I'm just saying if they are prescribed. Give me a sec. If they are prescribed, yeah. So the funny thing is that if they were just ethical animal activist vegans, they would have taken the antibiotics, because they don't have any kind of activist vegans, animal rights vegans don't have any, don't have any sort of pretensions towards healthy, detoxes and cleanse and healing and natural healing. Animal rights vegans don't even think often that the vegan diet is healthier. They don't really know. They don't really care sometimes. So they would take the antibiotics and everything else, and it wouldn't destroy their faith in a vegan diet. But for other people who are within the natural health kind of thing and have got that connection of thinking about of living naturally, of wanting to heal naturally, of thinking there's a natural diet and all that kind of stuff, a lot of these people are avoiding the solution, I think. I think some of these people are avoiding some of these solutions. And so they get unwell. But what could be the other things if it's not that? It could just be that they eat a shitty vegan diet. And a lot of them are. And a lot of them aren't open about it. Listen, when people tell you they're going back to eating cooked food, and when people say that they've tried out raw food, didn't really work for them, they're not going back to eating a healthy diet. It's not like they're not doing some kind of really restricted monk diet of just eating brown rice and vegetables and fruits. That's not what's happening. They are going to the restaurants, they are going to the vegan buffets, they're going to whatever, and they're binging, Don't think that all these people are eating these really healthy, or clean kind of versions of a cooked vegan diet. These are people eating bad diets often. And if they are expecting to feel healthy and expecting to feel well and expecting that as every year goes by, they feel better, it's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. There is one healthy diet for human beings, and that is a raw vegan diet. The diet your body is adapted for is the only healthy diet. I don't know if that's a controversial thing to say, but there's only one healthy diet, and that's the same for every animal. and you could broaden it out a little bit, but an anteater, its only healthy diet is eating ants. It can't just go eating other things. It's got different degrees of how less healthy the other diets are, but ants is the diet of the anteater. Grass is the diet of the cow. What other ones I can think of? Can't think of any. Nuts are the diet of the squirrel. It's quite simple. And yeah, there's omnivores and stuff that eat a lot of different variety, but they tend to have something that is their main thing, and something that is their main way of getting that thing. And human beings are frugivores or frugivores. Frugivore. That's not controversial to say that. It's just not very well known. But it's not controversial if you were to say that to the people that study these things. And the person that came up with the taxonomy of different animals, the field of taxonomy, which is basically looking at animals' anatomy and saying, these are the same, these guys eat the same, and these guys eat the same. So all the herbivores have the four stomachs and the huge stomachs and all that. And the carnivores have the small intestines and the all that kind of stuff. And all these different animals have different things. And the frugivores have the exact same design as us. So what do you think we're designed to eat? What do you think we're adapted to eat? It has to be fruit. Because when we eat meat, it takes days and days and days and days for it to get through our system. It goes so slowly through our system. We can't even start to digest it in our mouth. And I want you carnivore diet people to understand this. Fruit starts to digest in the human mouth. The same thing as people who are kind of starchivores. Starch does not digest in the human mouth. But fruit starts to digest in the mouth because of the enzymes that we have in the mouth that are there to help digest fruit. From there, it's mushed up completely. It goes into our stomach. It goes through our stomach very quickly, and it races through that system and gets out the other side. It doesn't smell. It doesn't cause a mess. It doesn't cause a sound. That is fruit. Eating meat, eating other things is completely different. Anyway, so for all these people that have moved away from a vegan diet, what do I feel or think, or what do I think is going to happen? Well, I do think probably a lot of them will end up coming back to a vegan diet, hopefully a raw vegan diet. Maybe that'll take time. Maybe that'll take years. Maybe it'll take decades. Who knows? But the truth is, once you have found the truth, it will always be there in the back of your mind. Once you have found health and you've found how you really should feel, it will always be nagging at you in the back of your mind. It'll always be nagging at you. Now, the addictions that they're going to be starting and that they've created for themselves will be very, 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 very strong. But that truth will always be there in the back of the mind. So I predict some of them will come back to being vegan. I predict some of them will put on a lot of weight and won't look that great. In a vegan diet, you can eat more and you don't put on so much weight. If you start eating a lot of meat, I'm not sure that you're not going to put on a lot of weight eating meat and stuff like that. Maybe some of them it's been designed. Maybe they want to go bigger, get a bigger audience. Maybe they want to do partnerships with different companies and different people. They want to. They don't just want to be known as the vegan person. Maybe that's part of it. I don't know. I don't know. I don't really predict that their health is going to be getting better and better. I predict that, I think if they were to actually track their health, which I don't think they do, which most of us don't, and I don't really track my health either, but if you were to track the important metrics of your health, like things like your blood work, your cholesterol, and all these kind of things, I can't imagine that basically if you're going away from a raw vegan diet to a cooked vegan diet, back to the eating meat and stuff, your metrics of health are just going to get worse. And it's very clear to see cholesterol levels, levels of different nutrients and so on. So the idea that these people are saying they eat meat, they eat fish, they eat eggs, and they're getting healthier, and their hormones are better, and their this and that's better. This is just laughable, just a laughable idea, just a laughable idea. The human race, our health has actually declined in the 20th century because of the increase in meat in people's diets, the meat and dairy products. And dairy products have absolutely, the amount that people consume now compared to what they used to do is a massive, massive amount. And the amount of fruits and vegetables in people's diets went down, rapidly down. And these things all together have led to the rise of heart disease, cancer, stroke, hypertension, diabetes, various forms of arthritis, various forms of autoimmune conditions. And how can anyone think that going back to that kind of diet is better for them? I don't see that. I don't believe that. I just can't ever justify the idea that anything other than fruit is good for me and vegetables. Like, how can I deny that? I can't deny that fruit, that bananas, and I get it for all you ex-vegans or carnivores or whatever. I get that this is boring. I get that you think, oh, bananas, that's kind of boring. I get that. I totally get that. It is boring. But guess what? It's not meant to be excitement. It's food. It's fuel. You don't go to the petrol station and look for the most exciting fuel. You look for the one that fuels your body the best. And that's this simple stuff right here. And have a look at that, because that looks like food. That looks like food. I'll tell you what doesn't look like food. I'll tell you what doesn't look like food. Maybe I can't tell you what doesn't look like food. That looks like food right there. That looks like food right there. But if I was to have a rat here and bring this rat up to the screen, that doesn't look like food. That just doesn't look like food. So that's really all I've got to say. That's all I've got to say right now. I can never get over the idea that is somehow bad for me. The idea that people do a carnivore diet or they do other diets and they're told not to eat fruit, to cut down on fruit, and fruit is bad. If you bought that, I don't know where your education has been. All these people that have attended the Woodstock Fruit Festival, the UK festival, and blah, 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 a bunch of them have, and they've went ex-vegan. I'm like, did you listen? Did you actually go to the lectures? Did you take notes? Did you ask questions? Were you engaged? Or were you just there to kind of hang out with people and say, hey, I'm vegan, aren't I cool, and whatever? Do you know what I mean? Like, were you there? Were you actually focused and there and listening? Because I still can't find an argument, a justification for eating, meat and dairy and all that, unless it's just that you chose to do that because other people are doing it and, and all that stuff. So anyway, thanks for joining me tonight on this little video, and be happy to get your comments, your feedback, your everything else. If you're interested in the UK Fruit Fest, by the way, I'm going to be doing a webinar Thursday night, 7 p.m. I'm going to go through all the details of the festival. There's no obligation to sign up. It's just a way for you to get information about it. And I'll put a link down below this video, hopefully, so you can sign up. bit.ly/fruitfest, bit.ly.com/fruitfest webinar. You can click on that. And I hope to see you there. But for all you vegans and raw vegans out there, you need to have faith in this. You need to not listen to... When I see these people going ex-vegan, it doesn't waver me one iota away from a raw vegan diet, away from a vegan diet or lifestyle. It does not waver me at all. I don't follow them. I don't go to them for advice. Surprisingly enough, or amazingly enough. I don't get my inspiration from them. So, 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 I don't If it does make you waver, you just don't have the education yet, and you need to continue on your learning journey. And you need to apply the diet. And also, all you on the fence people need to commit to the diet. Commit to the diet. If that's vegan, if that's raw vegan. There's some people that don't commit 100%, and they're the ones that are going to slip off. For all we know, some of these people never fully 100% committed. And I mean commit like if there's a junk food place and it's kind of veganish maybe, and you don't really know, you don't buy the thing. You make commitments not to go to particular places if you don't know there's a vegan option or if you're not sure if it's vegan. And that's not just for the animals and all that. It's for your health. It's for the environment. It's an important decision to make. So commit to it 100%. So thanks very much for watching. Feel free to share, like, subscribe to the channel. Leave your comments, your questions below. And I will see you in the next video.